I was 31 when my mom called me at 6:45 on a Tuesday morning and said, without even a hello, your brother sold Dad's truck. I was still half asleep in my one-bedroom apartment above a laundromat in a small town outside Columbus. The smell of detergent and dryer sheets is basically the scent of my life these days. I rent cheap. I work as a shift manager at a hardware store, and I've kind of resigned myself to the idea that I'll never move back to the neighborhood I grew up in. But that one sentence from her about the truck snapped me awake like a slap in the face. That truck wasn't just any truck. It was Dad's '94 Chevy, green, dented, the one he drove to every Little League game, every school concert, every late-night emergency pharmacy run when I had asthma attacks. Dad died 4 years ago of a heart attack in our driveway. The Chevy was still parked there, under the oak tree, like a piece of him that nobody touched. So when my mom told me Jason, my younger brother, sold it without asking, something in me broke. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed, the radiator clanging like it always does, thinking he wouldn't dare. He wouldn't fucking dare. Mom, you're sure? I asked, my voice shaky. I saw a tow truck take it yesterday. He said it was time to move on. Like it was his decision. Jason and we've always been different. He's the golden child, the one who stayed close, who knows how to say the right things in front of Mom. I was the one who left for college, dropped out, moved from job to job. Dad used to tell me, you got too much of me in you, kid. That restless thing. It'll eat you up if you're not careful. Jason had none of that. He was steady, dependable. Or so everyone thought. I grabbed my jeans off the floor, pulled them on, and told Mom I'd be there by the afternoon. Don't start a fight, she said, her voice low, like she already knew there'd be one. But I couldn't promise her that. By the time I got on the road, the October air was sharp enough to sting through the cracked window. My car heater has been broken for 2 winters, so I just deal. My hands were sweating, though, because I couldn't stop replaying the image. Dad's Chevy hooked up to some stranger's tow truck, disappearing down our street like the last trace of him being erased. And I thought about the last conversation I had with Dad 2 days before he died. He had this weird way of talking, like he was dropping little prophecies. We were sitting in that truck, just me and him, and he said, you and your brother, one of you's gonna burn the bridge, and one of you's gonna have to rebuild it. Question is, who's who? At the time, I laughed it off. But now, rolling down 71 with my stomach in knots, I realized maybe he wasn't talking about the future in general. Maybe he meant this exact fight. By the time I pulled into Mom's driveway, it was already late afternoon. The oak tree was half bare, leaves scattered across the patchy grass. The spot where Dad's truck used to sit looked naked, wrong, like a missing tooth in someone's smile. Jason was already there, standing on the porch in his work shirt with his name stitched over the pocket like he owned the damn house. He had that smug look on his face that always made me want to swing first and ask questions later. Don't start, he called out as I slammed my car door. You sold it, I shouted back. My voice cracked in a way that made me feel 12 again, not 31. Jason shoved his hands into his jeans. It was just rusting away, man. Tires flat, engine shot. Mom doesn't need a dead truck taking up space. It wasn't about the truck, I snapped. You know that. Mom stepped out, apron still on, probably from baking something she hoped would keep the peace. She looked small, worn out, and I hated that she had to stand between us like some referee. Boys, she said. Please. But I couldn't stop. My chest was burning. That was Dad's. You don't just sell it like it's a junk sofa on Craigslist. Jason's jaw tightened. I didn't get rid of Dad. I got rid of a hunk of metal. There's a difference. For a second, I swear I could hear Dad's voice in my head, don't let him bait you. He knows where to hit. So I turned to Mom. How much did he even get for it? She hesitated, glanced at Jason. 500, Jason muttered. 500. For Dad's truck. The truck that still smelled like Marlboro Lights and motor oil, the one with his baseball cap crumpled under the seat. My throat went dry. You could have called me, I said. I would have bought it. I would have. Jason cut me off, his voice sharp. You're never here. You left. You think you can just swoop back in when it suits you and act like you care more than me? You don't even know what Mom's been carrying the past 4 years. That one hit. Hard. Because the truth is, he wasn't completely wrong. I didn't visit enough. I buried myself in work and excuses. Every time I thought about coming back, something in me pulled the other way. Guilt, maybe. Fear of being reminded I wasn't the son Dad could count on. But hearing Jason spit it at me like that made my hands shake. I know what she's been carrying, I said, my voice low. Because I've been carrying it too. Just not in front of you. For a moment, none of us spoke. The only sound was the hum of cicadas and the rustle of leaves. Then Mom broke the silence. Jason, she said softly, you should have talked to your brother first. Jason looked away, jaw tight. I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash something. But instead, I walked past both of them, straight to the empty spot under the tree. I stood there, staring at the crushed leaves where the Chevy's tires used to press down. My chest hurt like someone was sitting on it. And in that moment, I realized it wasn't just about the truck. It was about Dad's last words in that cab, about the bridge one of us would burn and the other would have to rebuild. And I couldn't shake the question. What if Jason already burned it, and now it was on me to fix what was left? That night I couldn't sleep. I lay on the old pull-out couch in Mom's living room, staring at the ceiling with its faint water stains, listening to the refrigerator hum and the occasional groan of the house settling. Every creak felt like Dad pacing upstairs, waiting for me to get up and do something about this mess. Around 2 a.m., I finally gave in to the urge. I got up, slipped on my jacket, and went outside. The night was cool, damp. The oak tree looked almost skeletal against the sky, its branches reaching like fingers. I stood in that empty patch of dirt and gravel where the truck had sat, and I swear I could smell the faint ghost of gasoline and cigarette smoke. I pulled out my phone. I didn't even know who to call. Scrapyards, mechanics, anyone. I just started Googling 1994 Chevy pickup Columbus, Ohio. After 20 minutes of scrolling, I found a listing that looked too damn familiar. 94 Chevy Silverado, green, runs rough, $1,200, pickup only. My pulse spiked. I zoomed in on the blurry photo. The dent on the passenger door. The faded bumper sticker. That was Dad's truck. No doubt about it. I screenshot the listing, marched back inside, and shook Jason awake on the recliner where he'd passed out watching ESPN. What the hell? He mumbled. You sold it to some flipper, I hissed, shoving the phone in his face. Look! He blinked at the photo, rubbed his eyes, then looked at me. So what? It's just a truck, man. I lost it. It's not just a truck. It's Dad's truck. The last thing of his that mattered. You sold it like it was trash. Jason sat up, his face hard. You think you're the only one who misses him? You think I didn't sit in that cab at night just to smell his damn cigarettes and feel like he was still here? I had to watch Mom cry over that truck every time she walked past it. I had to be the one here, holding everything together, while you ran off to what? Sling paint and nails at a hardware store. His words stung, but what stung worse was the rawness in his voice. The crack I hadn't heard since we were kids. For a second, neither of us breathed. Then I said quietly, I'll buy it back. Jason shook his head, scoffing. With what money? I'll find a way. I don't care. That truck's coming home. Mom's bedroom door creaked open, and she stepped out, robe pulled tight. Her face looked so tired, but her voice was sharp. Enough, she said. This house has heard enough yelling since your father died. If either of you think that truck is going to bring him back, you're fools. We froze. Then she said something that's burned into me ever since. Your father lives in how you treat each other, not in some hunk of rust. The silence after that was heavier than any shouting we'd done. I went back to the couch, Jason to the recliner, but I didn't close my eyes once. Because deep down, I knew Mom was right, and still I couldn't shake the pull. That truck was out there, sitting on some stranger's lot, and part of me felt like if I didn't bring it back, I'd lose Dad all over again. 2 days later, I drove out to the address from the listing. It was one of those half-abandoned lots on the edge of town, chain-link fence sagging, a faded sign that read, Cars, cash, no questions. The kind of place Dad would have cursed at under his breath. The truck sat in the corner, looking smaller than I remembered. Its paint was dull, the rust creeping up the wheel wells, but it was undeniably his. I walked up and pressed my hand against the door, cold and rough under my palm. For a second, it was like being 15 again, waiting for him to unlock the passenger side after school. A guy in a leather jacket came out of the office, squinting. You here for the Chevy? Yeah, I said, my throat tight. How much? He shrugged. 1,200. Cash only. I didn't have 1,200. I barely had 400 in savings. I tried bargaining, explaining it was my dad's, but he just shook his head. Look, man, business is business. Sentimental ain't a currency. I drove home, gripping the wheel, so hard my knuckles ached. I wanted to scream, to punch the dashboard. Instead, I thought of Mom's words. Your father lives in how you treat each other. That night, I sat across from Jason in the kitchen. Neither of us had touched Mom's lasagna. I stared at him, waiting for the right words, and finally just said, "Help me, please. Let's buy back together." He didn't answer right away. He just pushed his fork around his plate, then sighed. You know I can't stand you half the time, right? I laughed, bitter but real. Yeah, same. He smirked, then his face softened. But fine, we'll figure it out. The next weekend, we pooled our money, borrowed some from an uncle, and went back. When the guy counted the bills and handed over the keys, I swear I felt something lift off my chest. Jason drove it home. It stalled twice on the way, coughing like it might die, but we made it under the oak tree again. Mom came outside, shaking her head. Lord help me, you too. But she didn't stop us. That night, Jason and I sat in the truck cab with the doors open, just drinking cheap beers, not saying much. The seat smelled faintly of mildew now, but under it, still, was Dad's old cap. I picked it up, brushed the dust off, and set it on the dash. Jason leaned back, looking at the stars through the cracked windshield. You know, he said. Maybe we both burned the bridge. Maybe this is us rebuilding. I didn't answer right away. I just let the silence stretch, the cicadas buzzing, the cool night pressing in. And for the first time in years, it didn't feel like something was missing. It felt like maybe, just maybe, we were putting something back together. I think about Dad's words all the time now. One of you's gonna burn the bridge, one of you's gonna rebuild it. What he didn't say, what I had to learn the hard way, is that sometimes you don't get to pick which brother you are. Sometimes you're both.